Rec League Podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Breaker, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 129. Available now. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram, or YouTube itself. What up, world? So I just watched Madame Web. It is the new Sony distributed Spider something with no Spider-Man. It's the fourth entry in Sony's Spider-Man universe. Spider-Man ain't appeared in none of these fucking movies though. It stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor, Mike Epps, Adam Scott, Emma Roberts. I forgot the dude's name who plays the main villain, and I don't want to butcher it. Tahir Rahim. I don't think that's it, and I don't think that's even close. Same universe, bro. Same universe as the two Venom movies in Morbius, and like Kraven the Hunter was supposed to come out. They were supposed to be doing El Muerto, which was on with Bad Bunny, then was off with no Bad Bunny. Now it's back on with no Bad Bunny, and this is directed by S.J. Clarkson, who I think was involved in Netflix Jessica Jones show, probably season 2. You got Cassandra Webb, whose mother was in like the Amazon rainforest looking for a specific spider whose toxins could do good but also do bad, and that's the prelude. And if the villain doesn't win the prelude, then there's no movie. There's barely a movie as is. But after a medical accident, Cassandra starts to like see these blips of things about to happen, and the villain, I want to call him Maxwell Lord, but I know that's a DC character. The Maxwell Lord of this movie has this vision, has this nightmare that he's gonna be attacked, murdered by 3 other women who Cassandra leads to being protect. You see, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the movie. This dude wants to kill these young girls. She's protecting these young girls. They both the older characters have powers, and there's no Spider-Man, even though dude looks like Spider-Man. So yeah, if you can't tell, like Venom, the first Venom is the best movie in this universe. Venom 2 has elements of fun with Woody Harrelson, but they still wasted Carnage. Morbius is mid. Madame Web is worse than Morbius, period. I'm gonna put it out there right now. Dakota Johnson, I've seen her in a handful of movies. She could be in The Godfather, Goodfellas, Pulp Fiction, fucking date movie, Meet the Spartans. She never sounds interested in anything she's doing. She always sounds so fucking bored. Does she only get roles because her parents are Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith? Like, I need to know. And like the best thing that she did regarding this movie was firing her representation if the motherfuckers told her that this was an MCU movie funded by Disney. Because if it's not, I've said this a million times on this channel, if it's not the Lord and Miller Spider-Verse movies that it seems like they have total say-so over, or the Tom Holland starring Spider-Man movies that Kevin Feige has a lot of input in, which Sony just needs to let Disney or Marvel Studios do their thing. Be like, especially with this next 4th Spider-Man movie, bro, like y'all want another multiversal adventure. Disney, Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios wants a grounded, basically like not new origin, but a street level. And after nobody knows who Spider-Man is or Peter Parker or whatever, That's what it needs to be. How you gonna do a multiversal fucking story when nobody knows the main character? Sony, y'all suck. And this movie is case in point why. Madam Web, if anybody knows anything about comic lore, which the writers clearly didn't, the studios that wanted to make this movie clearly fucking didn't, y'all are so dead set on having this big multiversal fucking interconnected universe. Madam Web is the character that connects the fucking universe, and y'all didn't do shit with that. Y'all didn't do shit with that. No, like, I don't imagine anybody going to fucking watch this shit. So the Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor characters that in dream sequences were suited up and heroes, we won't ever get the fucking character development to actually see them get their powers. Idiots. But with that being said, like, Sydney Sweeney, Celeste O'Connor, Isabella Merced are great. I enjoyed watching them and playing their characters. Everybody else in this movie, maybe aside from Adam Scott, kind of sucks. Like, as soon as we get into this movie, the dialogue is bad, the acting is bad, the story is bad. In the one movie that you would assume would have, like, mid-credit, post-credits, there's nothing. There's just nothing. This is a useless, pointless, let's make a movie for the sake of making a movie thing. There's really no clairvoyancy. She had as much clairvoyancy as Devon Sawa in Final Destination. He saw the plane accident happened minutes later. She's only seeing minutes into the future. It's not like she, like, had this epiphany and, like, saw other Spider characters and, like, was unlocking shit. Like, the most comic accurate shit was, like, she kind of was Madam Web by the end of the movie. There was no, like, throne or anything. There was no, like, she wasn't really sitting. That I know more about Madam Web than anybody that made this movie, and all I really know is the 90s Spider-Man animated series. The series that Madam Web popped into and actually talked to Spider-Man and guided him along his way in the final 2 seasons or so. I've spent more energy bitching about this movie than I wanted to. Yeah, like, no hopes for Kraven the Hunter. No hopes for Venom 3. This universe sucks. So, with all that being said, man, I will say that in my opinion, Madam Web is straight. I want to go lower. Like, it deserves a 1 or a 1.5. But, like, I didn't hate it. There was no point for this movie to be made. It wasn't, like, overly trash. It's just, like, you can tell there was no love for the source material behind the scenes, man. So, have you seen Madam Web? What you think? Positive? Negative? Somewhere in between? Let me know. I recently put up a review for Argyle. I got a Bob Marley One Love review coming momentarily. I don't know if my theater is going to get Drive Away Dolls, so the next thing I watch and review is probably Doom Part 2. Banger. So yeah, man, like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me? Watch these credits. Peace.